In this Alpha Destiny exclusive, I'm going to expose the carryover trap. Unfortunately, this is a paradigm that many of you fall into. It is a biased, narrow-minded way of thinking by which you believe that if an exercise does not carry over to something else, then it is rendered as worthless. Now, I want to expose this fraud idea for what it is. Bullshit. So, the first thing I want to bring to your attention, two things, is that one, strength is joint angle specific, meaning you will get better at the angles that you train at. So if you do a lot of partials, you get better at partials. If you do a lot of full range of motion, you'll get better at full range of motion, right? That's basic. And secondly, you will get stronger at whatever you train. And in many instances, certain exercises have carryover to whatever you're trying to improve upon, all right? So now that you understand these two crucial pieces of information, I want to talk about exercises that don't have carryover and why just because they don't carry over does not render them as worthless. So for example, the weighted chin-up or the weighted pull-up. I think we can all agree here that it's a great exercise. It works your lats, works your biceps, works your forearms. I mean, it's an exercise that will get you jacked. And when you do it, you develop really good vertical pulling strength. And you get good carryover to gymnastics as well. So I think we can all agree here that the weighted chin-up is a phenomenal exercise. But what does it do for your deadlift? What does it do for your squat? What does it do for your bench press? What does it do for your overhead press? What does it do for the vast majority of lifts? In some cases, it will raise your lat pull down. I can certainly see that carrying over. And it'll improve your bicep curl to a certain extent. But beyond that point, beyond little assistance movements, it is not the most specific exercise whatsoever. It's just a great movement that you could do in isolation, and it gives you results. So if you're under the carryover paradigm, you're gonna not do weighted chin-ups because they're worthless. You're not gonna do them because they don't have carryover. You see the problem with that line of thinking? Okay, what about the overhead press? Can't we all agree here that the overhead press, strict barbell overhead press, bar touching your chest, you press it up, lock it over your head. Can't we all agree here that it is an amazing exercise? It builds strict pressing strength. It demonstrates exactly where you stand in terms of pressing because you can't cheat. You can't do these crazy arches now. You can't use leverages to your favor for the most part. It is a raw test of strength. We can all agree upon that point, yet in many cases, the overhead press does not optimally carry over to flat benching. I mean, there will obviously be a certain degree of carryover. That is inevitable, especially if you are a strong overhead presser, but it's not the most optimal way to do so. Basically, if I designed you a bench press specialty program, low chance that I'd be having you do high frequency overhead press or just an emphasis on it at all. I mean, you might be including it in your program, but it's not gonna be the main feature. So again, if you're under the paradigm of this must carry over, then you're never gonna overhead press. So you're getting rid of an effective exercise. So is the overhead press bad because it does not carry over? No. It's a great exercise in isolation. That's what I'm trying to bring across to you guys. Isolation. You have to think of the benefits that one exercise could provide. That's all. You don't have to be under the illusion that it must carry over. No, it doesn't have to carry over to jack shit. If it's a good exercise, it's a good fucking exercise, period. Another example, the barbell back squat. A lot of guys get zero carryover to your deadlift. I'm one of those people. For me, all I had to do to get a stronger pull was do more pulls. More pulls, more rows, a lot of lower back and ab work, okay? That's what worked for me. Squats did shit all. But does that mean I'm gonna stop recommending squats? I'm gonna say, oh, squats are a bad exercise because it doesn't improve your deadlift. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Or what if you train one style of deadlifting and it doesn't carry over to the other? Are you gonna say that that style is worthless? No. Strength is joint angle specific. So if you raise, say, your sumo deadlift, and your conventional doesn't go up at an exponential rate, are you gonna say, fuck sumo, it's all about conventional, because it didn't carry over, it's a worthless movement? No. And if you think that it's worthless because it doesn't carry over, again, that's the bias showing. And you have to eliminate that from your consciousness, man, because it is a fucking negative, destructive mentality, and it is robbing you of your happiness, my friend. Always scrutinizing people for doing things that don't go with your agenda. All right, what about Zerker lifts? Let's say you do a Zerker deadlift off the floor. It's probably not going to carry over to many things. Maybe it's going to help you with Atlas stones and a few select movements, and give you good general strength. But the lifting itself, I mean, there's much more feasible ways of getting stronger pulls. So are you going to say never do a Zerker lift? No. It's just that you have to treat it as a lift in itself. You have to look at exercises in isolation. Same thing for rack pulls above the knee. It will not have carryover to pulls off the floor, but doesn't make them a bad exercise. It will work your core to a tremendous extent. It'll prevent lower back pain from arising. It'll work the upper back and the traps. So it's just a different movement. Same thing for the slingshot bench press. See, on that video I made the other day, I had a few people say, what you're saying is true, Alex, but the slingshot is not the best way to raise your raw bench. I'd rather you do classic raw bench with pause. And you know what? I agree with you, but that's not what I was trying to stress, right? I'm talking about the slingshot in isolation, which is a fact that if you just do slingshot bench, it provides numerous benefits. Even if it had zero carryover, even if you can somehow slingshot bench 500 pounds, and that makes your raw bench 135, it's still worth it because it's a good exercise in isolation. This is what I'm trying to express to you guys. Look at exercises not just from the carryover perspective. The carryover perspective helps you when you're trying to improve upon a lift. But when you're just talking about making gains, general strength, getting bigger muscles, nothing has to carry over. Same thing for the landmine press. In 2016, I did a lot of landmine presses. It had zero carryover to my overhead press. But what happened? My shoulders got way fucking bigger. My upper chest started filling in from these landmine presses. But I shit you not, guys. It had zero carryover. I'm not joking. It carried over to nothing. Maybe it gave me stronger obliques. That's about it. But it's still a great exercise. Same thing for the one-arm dumbbell press. I did a lot of one-arm dumbbell presses. I got up to doing 100 pounds on my right arm, okay? Dead stop, full range of motion, one arm, okay? It did not have carryover to anything, but it's a great lift. You understand what I'm trying to say? Fuck carryover. It's not required. As a recreational lifter who does not compete, you don't need to have carryover for anything. As long as the exercise is good, as long as it works the targeted muscle groups, as long as you are getting stronger at that one lift, you will have benefits. If you do a lot of reverse hypers, your glutes and hamstrings will get bigger. If you take it from 100 pounds to 300 pounds, your glutes and hamstrings will get bigger. And obviously, you're going to have a lot less lower back pain as well. It doesn't have to carry over, even though indirectly it will. So get out of the carryover trap. That's not what defines an exercise being effective or not. I don't want to hear that, oh, well, a block pull of 6 inches doesn't carry over to a deficit deadlift. I don't want to hear that biased bullshit. How about we look at the two exercises in isolation and then compare the benefits instead of always thinking about carryover. It doesn't have to carry over. And then another point I'd like to mention as well is that unconventional lifts, in many cases, they do carry over, but it's just not the most optimal way to do so. And in my opinion, guys, if you can acquire elite level strength without even doing the exercise, I'm not saying you're the best of the best, but if you can get really, really strong at a classical lift, even though you never practice it, to me, that's fucking win-win all the goddamn way. Because now you got your cake and you can eat it too. Because now you got it all. You got all the strength from the exercise that you enjoyed, that gave you the strength benefits. You got the hypertrophy gains. And now you're strong at exercise that you don't even do. That's what I was trying to say in my other video, guys. If you can bench 455 with a slingshot, your raw bench is automatically 405. Like, isn't that fucking amazing? Without having to do the lift. See, that's where I see benefits as well. All right, and same thing for guys who train in a regular fashion. If you train in a conventional route, your unconventional lifts will be somewhat good. They're not going to be optimal because, as I pointed out at the beginning of this video, you have to practice what you want to get better at, right? Strength to joint angle specific. But either way, if there's a certain degree of carryover, which there is, no matter what way you train, then that's fine in itself. At the end of the day, we're just lifters. We're just lifting fucking weights. We're picking shit up, putting it back down. We're pressing. We're pulling. It's not life or death. Okay? Let's stop with the cult-like mentality. Let's stop with this carryover mentality. Nothing has to carry over. It doesn't have to carry over to jack shit. If it's working your muscles and you're getting stronger at that lift, there's your fucking benefits. Same thing for good mornings, by the way. A lot of guys, they don't get carryover to the squat or the deadlift. But that does not render the good morning a bad exercise. It's a good exercise when used correctly. So that's it. Stop judging recreational lifters for their exercise selection choices. There's no rules. You could do whatever the fuck you want to do. And I want to make it very clear that carryover does not need to occur in order for an exercise to be effective. It does not have to occur. If you're getting stronger that one lift and your muscles are getting bigger from it, that's all that counts. I'm talking from the recreational lifter perspective here. So, hope you learned something. Maybe I'll make another video about this. Give me your feedback down below and I will talk to you all next time.